Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 25th of November. India's Jammu and Kashmir and Jharkhand begin 5-phase assembly polls. Haqqani behind Afghan volleyball match blast, says intelligence. And Islamabad's lack of relief assistance angers people of POK. And now for all the details. Banned terror outfit the Haqqani network was behind the deadly blast in southern Afghanistan on Sunday, the country's intelligence agency has said. This comes as the death toll in one of the biggest terror strikes this year rose to 61.
The National Directorate of Security on Monday said the terror attack was plotted and executed by Abdullah Bilal, the governor of Haqqani network in Afghanistan's southern Paktika province. The insurgents have, however, not taken any claim of responsibility of the blast so far. Sunday's attack happened when a suicide bomber detonated himself in a crowded volleyball stadium in Yala Khel, some 173 miles south of capital Kabul. Those killed include many women and children. Nearly 70 other people who suffered injuries are still being treated in various hospitals. Afghanistan Chief Executive Officer Abdullah, who met the relatives of the victims on Monday, condemned the attack.
Afghanistan ولسته یو لوی مصیبت و یو لوی غمیزه را پیش شو تاسو ټولو ته تسلیت وایم.
Many fear the death toll could rise as several of the wounded still remain in critical condition.
We have received here in ICU ward 27 patients. 13 of them is very critical and they are under control. All of them is civilian. Some of them is very small children and some of them is the older.
While the victims of the deadly attack were laid to rest on Monday, locals urged the government to equip the country's security forces to help them fight terrorists.
دا پرون ورځ خو ډیره ناوړه کار وسو د دښمنانو لخوا چې او درې پنځوس کسان د موږ شهادت کم او لوی سپینګیریا ځوانان ورسېدل نو موږ له حکومته چې دا توقع غواړو چې د موږ محلي پولیس او ملي پولیس
Sunday's attack came days after Abdullah rejected reports of a security vacuum in the country following the NATO troops' withdrawal.
Brisk polling was recorded from India's Jammu and Kashmir and Jharkhand as the two states began voting in the first of the 5-phase assembly elections on Tuesday. Voters defied all odds and turned up in large numbers to practice their franchise.
Remaining undeterred by the freezing temperature, enthusiastic voters in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir lined up outside polling booths from early morning. Long queues were seen in several assembly constituencies of the Kashmir Valley, including districts of Ganderbal, Doda, Kishtwar and Ramban. Locals had to cross several checkpoints in Srinagar to reach polling booths as the summer capital remained under tight security cover to avoid any untoward incident. Young voters said their choice of candidate was not based on religion or caste.
वोट जो है हमने अकॉर्डिंग टू किसी रिलीजन के मुताबिक नहीं दिया अकॉर्डिंग टू हमने इस मुताबिक दिया कि जो हमारी यूथ की है वो फर्दर डेवलपमेंट हो जाए.
Nearly 1,900 polling stations have been set up in 15 constituencies of the Himalayan state, which has more than 1 million voters eligible to exercise their right to franchise. In Bandipora, many hoped their vote would choose the right candidate who would help develop the region.
यहाँ पर वोटिंग की बहुत खुशी से हम वोट डालने के लिए गारों से निकल आई है. हमें तो सहलाब ने बहुत परेशानी की है. हम इस वोटिंग की सूरत नहीं है मगर हालात ने मजबूर किया कि तुम वोट डालो. हम तैयार है वोट डालने के लिए.
India's eastern Jharkhand also went to polls on Tuesday. Defying a Maoist boycott call, a large number of voters exercised their franchise in the first phase of balloting for the assembly elections. Voting began in 13 of the 81 assembly constituencies in 6 Maoist-affected districts. Over 3 million voters will decide the fate of 199 candidates in the fray.
हम लोग पहला काम यही सोच के आए हैं कि पहले मतदान करें उसके बाद ही घर का काम करें और मैं तो चर्च से निकल के जस्ट सीधे यहीं आई हुई हूँ और यहाँ मतदान करने के बाद ही मैं घर जा कर के नाश्ता वगैरह अपने बच्चों के लिए बनाऊंगी.
With Prime Minister Narendra Modi leading the election campaign in Jammu and Kashmir, his ruling BJP is eyeing power in the disputed state for the first time. His landslide win in the national elections in May and a meltdown in support after the recent deadly floods in the state have given BJP hope of seizing control of the region, a move that has remained unaccomplished by his party till now.
Ahead of the harsh Himalayan winters, people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir continue to protest against the government for failing to provide flood assistance even after 2 months of the calamity.
Massive floods and landslides wreaked havoc for people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir or POK, washing away several villages and destroying vast swathes of farmland. But local administration is still absent from all relief work. Angry locals complain about the government's indifference.
वहाँ से जो मुंतखब मेंबर असेंबली और मिनिस्टर हैं आज़ाद कश्मीर गवर्नमेंट के फैसल मुमताज़ राठौर, उनसे जब हमने गुफ्तगू की और उनसे पूछा कि इतना अरसा हुआ कि लोग महसूर हैं और रास्ते भी कटे हुए हैं, वहाँ मीडिया की रसाई नहीं है, वहाँ पे इमदादी कारकुन नहीं पहुँच सकते, तो आपने रास्ते खुलवाने के लिए इक़दाम अभी तक क्यों नहीं किए? तो उसका जवाब उनके पास कोई उस तरह से नहीं था.
The flash floods that struck the remote region in September this year has taken away whatever little was available in the name of infrastructure and basic facilities. The local administration, a puppet in the hands of Islamabad, has completely failed to respond to the disaster, Siddiqui added.
घर पूरे का पूरा लैंडस्लाइडिंग के नीचे आके दब गया है, या एक बंदे की सिरे से ज़मीन ही लैंडस्लाइडिंग के बायस गायब हो गई है, सफ़ाहस्ती से मिट गई है. तो हुकूमत ने कोई, मैंने आपको अभी हवेली की मिसाल दी कि हवेली में जो है ना लोगों को मुतबादिल ज़मीनें ही नहीं मिली कि जहाँ पे वो शेल्टर बना सकें. तो हुकूमत बिल्कुल फेल हुई है, आज़ाद कश्मीर हुकूमत, कि लोगों को बहाल कर सके, लोगों की मदद कर सके.
One of Pakistan's most impoverished regions, POK has already remained hard hit by years of isolation and political suppression. Siddiqui said local politicians are apathetic towards the needs of people.
लोगों ने जो है ना पॉलिटिकल फिगर्स को बुत बनाया हुआ है और उन बुतों को की पूजा करते हैं, उनकी खामियां या उनकी जन्म से लोगों का जो इस्तेसाल हो रहा है, उस पे वो लोगों में इतनी जरूरत और हिम्मत ही नहीं है कि वो किसी बड़ी बरादरी के खिलाफ बोल सकें, किसी मिनिस्टर के खिलाफ बोल सकें, किसी पावरफुल शख्सियत के खिलाफ बोल सकें जिसके बैक पे बड़ी बरादरी हो.
Much of the aid, which was flown into Pakistan to help the calamity-struck POK, has been cornered by the politically influential sections and provinces.
India and Bangladesh have a great potential to work together as both countries can help in each other's growth and development, experts have said. A report.
Bangladesh will continue to work closely with its neighbour India in various fields of cooperation, Foreign Minister Mohammad Shahriar Alam has said. Speaking at a recently held seminar in capital Dhaka on Bangladesh-India relationship, Alam said it is in the larger interest of the two countries. He also expressed satisfaction in further strengthening the ties under the new Indian government.
দারিদ্র্য এবং বঞ্চনামুক্ত একটি সমৃদ্ধশালী বাংলাদেশ, একটি সমৃদ্ধশালী ভারত শুধুমাত্র বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণ সহযোগিতামূলক সম্পর্কের মাধ্যমে অর্জন সম্ভব. আর এই সহযোগিতা হবে দুই দেশের সরকার এবং জনগণের মধ্যে, যেটি ইতিমধ্যে আমরা একাধিকবার বলেছি এবং ভারতের নবনির্বাচিত প্রধানমন্ত্রী নিজেও বলেছেন যে ভারত শুধু একা এগিয়ে যেতে পারবে না যদি তার প্রতিবেশী রাষ্ট্রগুলিও সমান তালে তাদের সাথে এগোতে না পারে.
India recalled the progress the two countries have recently made in strengthening bilateral relations in various fields.
বিভিন্ন ইস্যুতে কাজ করেছি. একটা হচ্ছে ডেভেলপমেন্ট পার্টনারশিপ নিয়ে আমরা অনেক কাজ করছি, সোশিও ইকোনমিক এরিয়াসে অনেক কাজ করছি, বর্ডারের ম্যানেজমেন্টের এরিয়াসে অনেক দূর আমরা এগিয়েছি. ওর পরে সিকিউরিটি কোঅপারেশন আছে, ট্রেডে জিরো ডিউটি কোটা ফ্রি অ্যাক্সেস আছে. এগুলো হয়েছে, একটু সময় লাগবে ফর ইউ টু সি দ্য রিজাল্টস. এনার্জি কোঅপারেশন হয়েছে, রেলওয়েজে অনেক কাজ হচ্ছে, আর অনেক কেউ আজকে এখানটা আপনারা বললেন আইটি, এডুকেশন, হেলথ, এগুলোতে অনেক কাজ হচ্ছে.
New Delhi, which shares 2,545-mile boundary with Dhaka, was the first country to recognize Bangladesh in 1971. Currently, India, which is involved in a number of key infrastructure projects, has extended a line of credit of $1 billion to Bangladesh, apart from being its biggest power supplier.
They came, they zoomed, and they gave car enthusiasts enough adrenaline rush. Take a look at how these set of mean machines put up a grand show.
A glittering lineup of classic cars gave a joyride to visitors as Pakistan's 4th annual Karachi Khyber Vintage Car Rally concluded on a high note recently. The cars plied through various cities and towns including Sukur, Lahore and Islamabad before reaching its final destination in Peshawar. Organizers said it was aimed at reviving the lost charm of the four-wheelers.
रैली करने का मकसद हमारा ये होता है कि ये गाड़ियाँ जो निगलेक्ट हो रही हैं वो बाहर निकालें, लोग उसको प्रिजर्व करें, उसको रिस्टोर करें.
Among the 70 vintage cars that were put on display, the oldest ones included a 1947 Buick, a 1954 Chevrolet and a 1957 Austin Healey remained major attractions. Car enthusiasts of all ages flocked the rally in large numbers to get a glimpse of the shiny wheels.
Had a fantastic time looking at all of these wonderful cars that have been prepared by people who absolutely have a passion for cars.
The event provided a platform for all the vintage car lovers to showcase their unique possessions.
Winters might be knocking at the doors, but things are hotting up on the fashion circuit. Take a look at who all set the temperatures soaring.
It was a treat for fashion enthusiasts as Bollywood's sultry sirens glided down the runway, adding much glamour to the Madame Style Week 2014 in entertainment capital Mumbai. Actor Shriya Saran took time off to walk the ramp in a fusion ensemble by designer duo Falguni and Shane Peacock. Richa Chadda also turned showstopper for designer Kshitij Kankaria, who sported a net shirt with a leather jacket and black lehenga. Actor Isha Deol made a rare ramp appearance too. The 33-year-old was at her casual best in a netted jumpsuit. She said her outfit would set the trends this season.
मेरे ख्याल से एक बहुत ही young, cool school girl kind of look है जो you know, if you have a good body, you can afford to wear an outfit like this. It's perfect for Bombay weather, for a coastal place.
Actor Ileana D'Cruz charmed all as she wore a Tibetan black and blue printed gown by designer Isha Meme. British Indian rapper Hardcore also showed her fashion prowess as she enthralled the audience with her antics on the ramp. The fashion extravaganza saw curtains down with ace designer Vikram Fadnis, who presented his latest fall-winter collection. He chose to dress his muse and Bollywood actor Malaika Arora Khan in a peacock blue and green kali sari. Khan said she was lucky to get the best clothes from her designer friends.
I'm very lucky कि इतने सारे जो designer friends हैं मेरे. I always have the option to wear the latest and the best because of itne sare jo hamare friends hai, and they always make sure that they dress me up in some of the best clothes, so that's what I like.
Designers Ken Ferns, Nirali Mehta, Mohit Barar, Misa Moore and Mitali Ambikar were some of the others who presented their latest line at the maiden edition of the Fashion Do, which was high on style, comfort and chic clothing.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. India's Jammu and Kashmir and Jharkhand begin 5-phase assembly polls. Haqqani behind Afghan volleyball match blast, says intelligence. And Islamabad's lack of relief assistance angers people of POK.